Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members. For the record, my name is Jeremy Mazur with Texas 2036. I'm here testifying in support of Senate Bill 7. And I want to thank the chairman for his time, extraordinary dedication, and leadership on this issue. Also want to thank him for inviting me to be here on this panel. I've provided the committee with a 4-page handout that includes some of the key data points that I'm going to cover. But for context, Texas faces two long-term water infrastructure challenges. First, we must expand and diversify our water supply portfolio for a drought-prone and growing state. And second, we must fix the aging, deteriorating drinking water and wastewater systems that are becoming liabilities to the communities that they serve. Let's start by talking about the water supply issue first. According to the most recent state water plan, over the next 50 years, we face a long-term water supply deficit of 6.9 million acre-feet of water if we don't expand and diversify our water supply portfolio and we're hit by a long, severe drought. Keep in mind, members, that drought is our enemy. If Texas fails to do this, if we don't expand our water supply portfolio and we're hit by that drought, then by 2050, the state will endure $165 billion, again, $165 billion in annual economic losses. And for comparison, these economic losses are more than twice than those that this state endured during the Great Recession and the COVID pandemic. The second infrastructure challenge that we face has to do with addressing our aging, deteriorating drinking water and wastewater systems that are becoming liabilities to communities across the state. As I shared with this committee a few weeks ago, the American Society of Civil Engineers just recently downgraded our drinking water and wastewater infrastructure. Our drinking water systems went from a C- to a D+, and our wastewater went from a solid D down to a near-failing D-. On top of this, leaky pipes waste enough water each year to fill a major storage reservoir like Lake Buchanan or Possum Kingdom Lake, as Texas families and businesses endure thousands of boil water notices per year. The problems from these aging, deteriorating systems are like a series of small economic cuts that over time really amount to a meaningful wound to the state's economy. And we project that over the next 15 years, these aging, deteriorating systems will inflict a total of $320 billion in economic damages on our state. And for comparison, members, this is roughly the size of our current state two-year budget. Texas 2036 projects that the state's long-term price tag for addressing these challenges equals $154 billion over the next 50 years. Again, $154 billion over the next half century. The breakdown of this figure is as follows. The inflation-adjusted cost estimate of what the state needs to spend on water supply projects in the recent state water plan equals $59 billion. Fixing our aging, deteriorating drinking water systems will cost $74 billion, and repairing our wastewater and clean water infrastructure will total just over $21 billion. Texas 2036 projects that existing state and federal financial assistance programs will work to cover about 25% of this funding need. This will leave a long-term water infrastructure funding gap of $112 billion in the decades ahead. The Texas-sized solution to this funding gap involves the constitutional dedication of state revenues to our water funds, like SB 7 contemplates, as it serves as the enabling legislation for a separate measure proposing this dedication. That said, legislative oversight and performance accountability standards within SB 7 are essential to any state revenue dedication for water infrastructure. The Texas Water Fund Advisory Committee established within SB 7 will give the legislature meaningful, lasting oversight over the Water Development Board's use of monies allocated to the state's water funds. More importantly, the bill requires that the board report to the committee on the state's progress towards fixing our water infrastructure challenges. In particular, the bill requires that the agency report on progress towards closing our water supply deficit and fixing our aging, deteriorating drinking water and wastewater systems. These accountability measures are important for two reasons. First, they're going to allow the legislature to track progress and achievement towards addressing our water infrastructure challenges. And second, these measures will let taxpayers understand the value of their return on investment in water infrastructure. Mr. Chairman, I've been emphatically clear for the past 2 years about the need for a constitutional dedication of funding for our water infrastructure. But I think that so much is at stake here. We must have performance measures that track our state's achievement and success when it comes to tackling these big, long-term water infrastructure challenges. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your leadership with Senate Bill 7 and the other bills that we can't mention here. I look forward to your questions at the end.